Oh man. Oh, that one hurt. Oh. 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 Ow. I don't know what I hit. I hit something. And then I hit this. The earth. Whew. Quite nice to have the reprieve of this weather. Although, on this absolutely ice of clay track, and there's also a lightning storm around. We saw a bolt of lightning just over there before. We've kind of waited. There's not much lightning going on. We're in two minds. Do we go to get out of this situation, or do we wait out in amongst these tiny little trees thinking that that's somehow better? However, what might happen is we both just get stuck about 10 meters that way. Oh, dang it, Zeus. So I'm going to try the grass track and hopefully I don't get swallowed by the earth. Zeb's going to assess what happens to me before he makes a decision. If I get struck by lightning while riding, I think that's okay. However, if I come off and get struck by lightning, that's not okay. So far, so good. Oh, I'm so nervous. This feels... I can't see what I'm riding on. It isn't too slippery though. But I do feel like Zeus is out to get me. Fuck off, Zeus. Get out of here. It's my day and I'm having a good one until you showed up. Oh, I'm pretty nervous actually. I don't like lightning. Worse than possums. Order of things I don't like. Number 1, lightning when I'm in a big open space. 2, possums anytime, it turns out. I didn't know that about me before this trip, but now I do, and you're all laughing at me about it. But who cares, as long as I survive this fucking lightning situation. Sorry for the expletives. I don't actually know how to put explicit content alarms on, or warnings on YouTube. You'll have to figure that out for yourself. Alright, I'm through. Cop that, Zeus. Get Zebedee. Dang it. Alright, uneventful. Get your content elsewhere. No, don't. Hang around. It's fun. Slow trip to the servo. We don't even know where we're camping at tonight. Alright, good evening. We have got a lot to catch you up on.
Yeah. First of all, looks like we're in a prison. We're not. We're in a hotel room.
You might also notice that we're not camping. We were meant to be. You'll hear about that later. We are in a luxurious motel,
roughing it
on the air highway. We should also point out that Zebedee's back. Welcome back, baby.
Hey, how we going?
You're alive again.
I am.
Sad panda Zeb from yesterday.
Wow, was I a sad panda yesterday. To be fair though, I should be more sad now given the last 12 hours that I've had.
So I'm actually yet to upload day number
6.
I think this is day number 7. Yeah. So we're gonna have some more furious editing, I think, to get out 6 tonight, maybe 7 tomorrow morning before we head off. Yeah. So today's installment starts. Actually, first of all, I also want to say thank you for your comments. Loving those. It's fun to see who's interacting. Yeah. I don't enjoy all of the people loving the waffle. That's my least favourite part.
I love that.
Of the podcast. Also, shout out to David. Thank you for recognising the podcast name. Zeb hasn't read the comments yet, so he's got no idea what I'm talking about. He will. He loves all of your comments dearly. All right, so
great waffle.
Thank you. We have to start this podcast at all zeros one.
It's not a podcast.
Yeah, but people get it. We're being unique. So we have to start the podcast at all zeros one this morning, where the heavens opened up. Well, it didn't really rain that much, but we noticed when we were going to bed, some lightning on the horizon. Zeb thought, I don't think it's going to rain.
No, so first of all...
And didn't put his fly in his tent.
We were setting up the tents. I looked around, gorgeous stars. It was beautiful, lovely night. It was actually a really lovely temperature. There wasn't a lot of wind around, so I was like, you know what? I'm actually not going to put the fly on my tent. But I'm going to keep it in my tent just in case something happens.
In case he gets to faff later by putting the thing on.
Yeah. But then I did notice, I'll point out, thank you very much, I was like, I think is there a lighthouse nearby that might be flashing? Josh was like, I don't know. I was like, no, it was lightning.
So
Anyway.
I woke up to head torches going nuts. There was like my tent all of a sudden got lifted, like the fly lifted up. I lost 2 pegs, went flying. Zeb was in a flurry of securing.
I was calm and composed. I was going about my business. Thank you very much.
You did quickly.
Yeah.
And then you did get that set up pretty quick, but keeping the pegs in was hard work. I had to reinstate my pegs about 6 times.
Yeah.
And the tent was like blown flat onto my face a few times. So luckily it was
I kind of
just
felt like Han Solo, when he gets cryogenically frozen, and he's like, that's kind of what I felt was happening with my fly, the tent being stuck to my face while I was
I don't know about you, but I managed to get back to sleep in that state. And
so did I, actually.
Woke up an hour later realizing that it was
just like
dead
Han
still,
Solo.
and it was great. So yeah, that was that. And then we woke up to our first proper glimpse of Bilbunya Dunes this morning, which was great. It was a very beautiful still morning. We will have a time lapse that we'll put on now, and we packed away. We had some
Apologies
breakfast.
for dress sense.
Yeah, that's pretty standard on this trip. And then hiked to the summit of the Bilbunya Dune, which was cool. Cool view, cool sand dunes. Yeah. And then we set off. I was bogged before we even started. I couldn't get my bike out of the little spot there. Yeah. So thank you for the push there. And then we set off on part 2 of this kind of one stretch of, we said goodbye to Blacktop yesterday at Conningup. And then we weren't going to get fuel until Caiguna, which is where we are now. So we set off. It was pretty well clay panned through the back of the sand dunes, pretty easy. Up a few sandy hills to start with. We got through those all right. I think the overnight rain helped.
Yeah,
and
it was pretty hot. The bikes overheated a few times.
Yeah.
Had to manage that. It was really thick sand, so trying to manage that up.
We got started at about 8 in the morning, and it was, I think by 9 when I checked my bike, it was saying it was 39 degrees.
Yeah.
So there was one big hill that we really had to get up, otherwise we didn't really have enough fuel to go back the other way.
Yeah.
So we were getting up that hill one way or another. And luckily, where it starts really getting steep, there's conveyor belt rubber that's been put down. So it's pretty undulaty, kind of if you're in a car. But we got to the conveyor belt without too much trouble. A bit of pushing and managing the overheating bikes. But once we got on the conveyor belt rubber, then we were up in one go.
Yep.
And then on top of the escarpment for the Nullarbor Plain, which is really cool. And then it was a bit sandy going to start with. So kind of soft sand in patches and then little rocky sections. So we eventually aired up the tyres a little just to get us through the rocks. Really hot. I think both of us at one point feeling a bit faint, and we just needed to stop, regroup, try to find some shade in the scrub that was around. At this point, my bike said it was 41 degrees. And so bikes and us were really hot, and probably concerningly, we were getting through our water really quickly.
Yeah, we thought fuel was going to be the limiting factor for this leg of the trip, but rapidly we realised that water might become a real problem for us.
Yeah, we got through our camelback ladders pretty quickly, and then we didn't have a whole lot of water in reserve. We kind of had a bit of an emergency bit set aside in case we had to stay another night or we got a puncture or something. And in all, we kind of, by the end of the day, we pretty well got through that before getting to civilization again. So happy to get through. I think the sea breeze kicked in about 11.
Yeah, we certainly gifted her a bit of a reprieve.
Yeah, and that
in that regard
cooled us down, and that definitely helped.
Slowed our water consumption.
Yeah, so we continued along. So this continues to be the telegraph track. So on top of the escarpment, it's kind of cool. You can see remnants, old artifacts of the telegraph line itself. You can see wire. There's little ceramic kind of insulated thingos, and that's pretty cool. And then the track really ceased being sandy, and then it just becomes kind of coastal track scrub, kind of two-wheel track, and you've really got to ride in one or the other. So it's almost really, we did nearly 200 k's of really single track today, if you consider it that way, because it's in a bit of each wheel track's in a bit of an embankment. The scrub comes right up to the track, so I think we
had to be tactical about when you change lanes as well, so that you can avoid whatever was sticking out at you.
I don't know about you, but
In
I
the
did a
trees.
lot of pruning on behalf of whatever shire this is today, keeping that track open.
Yeah.
And Barkbusters earn their keep.
Absolutely.
So
I used my face a few times.
Yeah, that's good. And then we ate up again just because we were really worried about pinch flats. There was lots of hard edges on these rocks, and we didn't want to get a flat tire out there. So really, we wanted to. We're aiming to be at Caiguna by about a bit after lunchtime, but in all, I think we needed to stop for lunch and have a break well before that, even before Luna Cove.
So the reason we stopped
Yep.
to eat food was because I came off my bike. So we'd already discussed that I would go in front of Josh, because that way, if I fell off, because I'm not as competent or an accomplished rider as Joshua, if I fell off, Josh would know about it rapidly. But Josh decided he didn't like dust anymore. So
No, I
he
just
banged
wanted to
ahead.
I wanted to get in a bit of a flow and enjoy the riding. So I was
Cool.
being ahead but checking, and then my checks became a bit infrequent.
Sporadic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, that happened to be one of the times where I decided to go for a tumble, which was actually a pretty significant one. I rode the bike, it clipped a rock, went sideways, and then as I got thrown off or got unbalanced, I obviously hit more accelerator. That's a good idea.
Thought I'll just power out of
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
into
yeah.
the tree.
Into this tree. So I hit a tree.
More berries!
Sideways. And that was quite painful. And I had to wait again another 25 minutes
Yeah.
for Joshua to turn up.
Yeah. So we changed tact after that. We refueled ourselves, and then I was relegated
Went back to the initial plan.
I was
where-
relegated to the dusty bit at the back, following along behind Zebedee. But let me just say, for those who aren't aware, Zeb took up motorbike riding about 12 months ago, and it was really for a trip that we talked about doing to Nepal. So Zeb got a motorbike to learn how to ride and get his license. He did that, and then we did the Nepal trip. That was great. And then
I foolishly made the complaint that Nepal wasn't as difficult riding as I thought it might
that's
be.
been my license. That's really been my license here. And then we have since. So then we started planning this trip. You've just got a new bike. You've been on one off-road ride before on that bike, and a couple on the previous bike.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only done I'm new to my bike as well. I've done about 2,000 Ks, but I've done a fair bit of riding in my younger years. So let me just say, for someone you're sticking it out pretty well. And I will also say that I wasn't really held back by your speed today. I think your cruising speed today was what I was.
Only when I
cruising
fell
with.
off. Only when I fell off. Then you had to be like, oh, whoops.
True.
I'll
that
have to go
came
back for Zeb.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I'm trying to give you a compliment to say I think
Thank
you're
you.
doing very
Appreciate
well.
it. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And I don't like how much of a villain I'm coming across as in my own YouTube channel.
I did find today extremely tiring.
Today was a really tough day. It was tough. I think just for endurance, it was only 200 Ks, but in the heat, and all of it, there was no cruisy kilometers. It was mostly standing up, really slow going for the rock. So after the sandy patch, it then just became it'd be open for 100 meters, then maybe 50 meters of these rock gardens, and then open rock gardens. So you were just constantly on the lookout for things that might give you a pinch flat, or on and off the throttle. I mean, my hands are sore just from standing all day and operating the controls so much.
Trying to get into some kind of flow state.
Yeah.
Intermittently.
Really enjoyable riding, just a lot
Great
of it.
fun. Good challenge.
Yeah.
Mentally draining.
Yeah.
Exhausting.
So eventually we got to Luna Cove, which is where the telegraph track meets the actual Nullarbor cliff, right down, or the sea cliff that goes down to the ocean. And there's lots of sea cliff there, but this one particular spot, the earth's kind of given way, and there's this, I don't know, tumble of rocks there, and this beautiful white sandy beach at the bottom. You can't get down to it.
Kind of a big amphitheatre.
It is,
like
yeah.
natural amphitheatre as you look down. It's
And
phenomenal.
there'll be photos, and the water is just crystal clear. There's all these different colours in the cliff, and it's spectacular.
Yeah.
So we stopped there for probably only 20 minutes, had a walk around, got some photos, put the drone up, and then that was our first real glimpse of the Nullarbor cliffs, which was really cool. And then we got back on the road, on the track, I should say, really realising now that we weren't going to get to our original objective, which was Twilight Cove, which was another 100 kilometres along this track, tucked in, camping on the beach underneath the sea cliffs. So instead, the target became Caiguna. We had to get there in order to get. We couldn't camp out there another night comfortably with the amount of water we had, and we're getting low on fuel by this point. So we, I think, got in a good rhythm after that. We just set our mind on going for an hour, cruisy speed, averaging probably only 30 kilometers an hour really by the time you're slowing for the rock gardens and picking up a bit of speed afterwards.
Yeah.
And then eventually made it to the turn off to Caiguna, which is still much of the same track. And I think we were feeling at that point, it's 20 k's from there, and we thought, we're home and hosed here. I certainly started drinking. I was probably rationing my water a little bit. I started going a bit harder on the Camelback, thinking this is pretty cruisy. We're going all right.
To be clear, at this point, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, "Yep, we're there," but I had realised that some of my enthusiasm to get better at riding may have come at the cost of the likelihood of me remaining upright on the bike continuously. So I decided that it was more important that I actually get to Caiguna rather than try and get to Caiguna quickly.
Right.
I just want to put
Sure.
that point
Yeah,
out
and
there.
I think we
We
were happy to cruise and just get some comfortable miles under our belt.
Yeah.
So we had been tracking a bit of a storm front that was moving over. We kind of got the edge of it at the cliffs.
Yeah.
And we thought we might get wet and it'd cool us down a little.
Yeah, it was lovely.
And
It
it never really
certainly
hit. We kind of were running parallel with it or something. But as soon as we turned left, it started raining. Probably actually it was only 5 or 6 k's to go to Caiguna. It started raining, and we both kind of, I think, were rejoicing just to cool us down a little bit, and thinking we could funnel this water into something if we really needed to.
Yeah.
And then I think at the same time we noted the particular length of track we were on was really clay based, and I think I felt a moment of kind of slipperiness in my tire, and I thought, oh, we need to be careful here. How did you discover the slipperiness? How did you find it?
I thought to myself. Actually, no, I didn't think to myself. I verbally commented. You'll see the video in a moment. But the point it cuts out, if I had an opportunity to finish my sentence, would have been, I should be careful here. I think it might be quite slippery.
Why did you not get to finish your sentence?
I slipped over.
Oh, right. Zed's speeding quite hard.
Yeah.
His entire jacket was covered in clay.
Second time on the same shoulder and the same hip.
Actually, and my favourite part, I'm sorry to say this to you, but Zeb has these little bags on his front engine guards, and they're like a really nice PVC vinyl, waterproof, carrying all our snacks and things in there. It's like one of those roll-down waterproof bag type things. Zeb hit so hard, and because it was rolled down, it just popped at the bottom, and everything opened up and fell out,
including one of the miso soups that has exploded throughout the entire bag. So whilst everything that in there may have been in its own little sachets and pouches, now smells of miso soup, including your book.
Great.
The other book that I still have. So yeah,
Oh, okay.
Actually, can I just segue, or side note, one of the reasons I was sad yesterday was my Cardo comms unit stopped charging, so I didn't have comms. And that's also one of the problems that we had in terms of when I fell over, not being able to radio Josh quickly and saying, hey mate, I need help getting the bike up or I'm down, blah blah blah.
We had to resort to horn communication.
Yeah.
1 beep is we're good, 5 beeps is we're yet to work out the system, we will.
Yeah, cool.
Good, yeah.
Anyway, so I was planning to send my Cardo in under warranty and get a new one, but because it wasn't on my head and it was in that bag on this crash, it's been shattered. So now I have a chance of bucklers of getting them under warranty, which is really annoying.
Are you planning on submitting this video as evidence?
Yeah, actually, yeah, I am.
And then, so...
New Cardo head. Sorry, go on.
Fine. So we picked Zeb's bike up from the clay mess.
I picked myself up, we picked Zeb's bike up, and then we chastised Zeb for all the faff that Zeb was causing.
There was, at this point, the lightning storm was passing over, and we were in a massive field with zero big trees around, and Zeb was faffing about like he normally does. And then we got going, decided that we'd just go slow. You took off and made it about 100
I went
meters.
slowly. Oh, whoa. I made it about 100 meters before I was rudely interrupted by a horn.
By 5 beeps.
Yeah.
And I was on the ground by this point. I'd slipped over.
Yeah.
And then Zeb drew significant enjoyment when then, once we picked my bike up,
Not at that time. I said nothing at the time.
I could
Internally.
tell. I could
Internally.
tell. It was not internal. In the space of 100 meters, I
Euphoric.
dropped my bike twice in this slippery clay. So it was pretty well this track, which had been giving us really 48 hours of the most kind of ambitious part of our trip. That's been a really good, enjoyable challenge. Then when we thought it was done and dusted, just didn't hold back any punches.
Just buckled us twice.
Yeah, and we
Thrice, in
couldn't
fact.
get any. Going down this track was impossible on this clay.
Yeah.
We persevered in like super slow first gear, and eventually made our way through, and got to the other end. But by this point, our bikes were covered in. We were pretty clean. We were stinky and we've been kind of clean. But until
I
this
was
point,
not clean. Oh, okay. Until this point.
Until this point.
Okay.
Now everything was covered in clay.
Yeah.
Everything's filthy. We were wet, and probably if we had have gotten through that section 10 minutes earlier, it would have been before the rain,
We would have just eaten it up.
and we would have been.
Honestly,
here
we were
about
6
15 minutes
Ks.
earlier.
We were 6 Ks from here when we slipped over, and after that moment, it took us 45 minutes.
Thanks for saying me.
You're welcome.
Yeah. And then.
A lot of pleasure from saying we. It's great.
So we arrived here, which again was meant to be our kind of just after lunchtime spot. It was 5:30 probably, nearly 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
When we got here, we noted they had
quarter to 6.
We noted they had a caravan park that probably had hot showers, so we thought we're going to do that. Caravan park, do some washing. Then noticed they had a kitchen, so we immediately ordered dinner. While we were waiting for our dinner to come, we realised they have motel rooms. So we then indulged in a motel room, and then also we realised it's our last night in WA. So we thought it'd be appropriate to get some Swannies. My first Swannie, actually.
Okay.
Appropriate to have before leaving WA. I will point out there are more than one bed. There's more than one beds. There's multiple beds in this hotel room. Zeb's trying. He's put a lot of stuff on all the other beds to make them
used.
not available.
It's pretty comfortable.
There will be no body surfing tonight. Tonight's not your night.
Depends how many Swannies we have.
So, yeah, big little bit of time. It's been a cool adventure the last 48 hours. But I was pretty happy to pull into Condinga today, having Caiguna, thank you, having had that experience. I think that was kind of the backbone of the trip for me, was trying to do that section on the bike. And without a support vehicle, it's pretty ambitious. So I'm glad we could pull that off. Very glad we could get up that hill today.
Yeah, true.
I wasn't really sure. It was quite easy because the conveyor belt rubber was all there. But if there were sections of that out, that would have been a real challenge. So that's that. A few issues with the bikes now. We've got to figure out a plan for your side bag.
Duct tape, baby.
Okay, good. There's also some duct tape holding Zeb's boots together at the moment.
Yeah, a lot of things are breaking. Cardo, boots, bag. Anything else at the moment?
My bike's dropped a couple of bolts out of my rear.
You lost a
rack.
buckle on your pannier.
Yeah, pannier buckle broke just
Lost a-
from some bushes today.
I lost a bolt on my barkbuster, which we temporarily replaced. Yeah.
So we'll need to try to patch these things up as we come across hardware stores and whatnot. But
Yeah.
no deal breakers yet.
Yeah, not yet.
How are you holding up?
I am getting sore.
Yeah.
Both the drops I had today were pretty solid. Probably the other ones that I've had where I've tumbled over the handlebars have been in sand, which has been kind of fun. Ha 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 ha. These were pretty solid onto either hard clay or rocks when I went down. But the safety gear that I've got, the jacket and the pants, have done me wonders so far.
Very nice.
Oh, and my ankle has been giving me like a fair bit of curry. Got kept, I think, 2 or 3 times on one of the rides. It got twisted behind me, and that's been painful.
Zeb didn't need to apply the horn that time. I just heard him yell.
It was quite painful.
So, yeah, that's good.
How's your body? Sorry, I didn't ask. You did fall over twice. You okay?
I
know, it can be scary
I
when you
dropped
fall
my
over.
bike twice. I wouldn't say I didn't crash or anything. My hands give me a bit of grief. A bit of a crappy knuckle that's just a previous injury that's kind of getting a bit overworked, but that's good. Tomorrow we'll readjust the plan. So I think we are we had planned on getting to Twilight Cove, as I said. I think what we might do now is head out along the blacktop to Cocklebitty and then duck in more directly out and back to kind of still get there, but shave some time off because we've got a big day tomorrow to get well into SA to kind of keep the rest of the trip on track.
So we're trying to go from here, Cocklebitty, down to Twilight Cove, and then perhaps back up.
Yep.
Or depending on how we're going, we may go from Twilight Cove and head straight east, but we shall see.
And let's just say we definitely got our money's worth out of this hotel room. Because we hope no subscribers of our channel work at this hotel room. Because we did wash all of our gear in the shower.
I reckon at the moment they'll probably figure it out if they had a look at the moment.
There's quite a scene in there at the moment, and there's a bit of cleanup to be done by us.
Yeah.
But my gear was definitely getting pretty stinky.
Yeah.
And yours had a lot of clay on it. So
a lot of dirt, a lot of dust, a lot of clay.
The bikes are in desperate need of a wash. I think that won't happen for a while now. You know, there's a fair bit of salt in some of these clay pans we've been in, and now there's just mud and sand and all kinds of things now. So actually a decent rain would actually go down well. But I think the rain we're having tonight is probably the end of it for a little bit.
Bit of decent rain whilst we're not trying to navigate clay.
Yes, that would be good. All right, well, we'll put some videos together and hope you enjoy them. Keep the comments going.
Yeah, and I'll get to read them at some point if you let me read them.
We'll let him into the segment. All right, start of day number 7. Just leaving Bilbunya Dunes, making our way out in all these dunes through the sand flats behind the ocean. Stunning morning. Look at these dunes. We've climbed up. They're absolutely incredible.
Kind of like first cracks on a powder day. Ew!
The ocean is just on the other side of these sand dunes. I'm worried about coming up eventually, and if we don't get to the top of this, we don't really have enough fuel to go back, so if we have to, we'll be skull dragging the bikes, but hopefully it doesn't come with that.
So the Himi's overheating, and so am I. So fuck, I'm having some hydrolyte, man, getting pretty dizzy. Very tired, very hot, and I really just have to stop for a bit. It is hot. Oh, I'm very dizzy. Gee, oh goodness. I can't hear Joshua's bike, which has just occurred to me, so I think I best go check on him. What do you reckon it is out there?
About 70,000.
Yeah, we've moved from Earth, we went to Mars for a bit, but now we're on Mercury. It is very hot. We've had to seek shelter, and at the moment we're having some fruit tingles in the form of hydrolytes.
But we are on top of the escarpment. We are now on the Nullarbor Plain, so the big hill's done. Now it's just whether we trust my remembering self about the amount of sand on
Which we don't. Which we don't.
It's pretty slow going, just picking our way through the rock. Luckily, hasn't been any sand in a while. Kind of averaging about 30 k's an hour, just cautious pinch flats and silly little things like that. So, taking our time. Deputy followed my advice, which was stay in the rut. with a small disclosure that the rut did disappear into the bush. Anyway, seems to be okay. Picked his bike up and he's back out there. You can make it out, but this wire here that's kind of along the track is the original telegraph line. Pretty cool. This track is pretty endless. We've been riding non-stop since Caiguna Cove, probably for about an hour and 20 minutes, and I reckon we'd be doing well to have covered 40 k's. There's kind of like just brush on one side, you're kind of stuck in either rut. There's sharp rocks like this little one that can catch your front tyre. The Zeb is just watching out for his right foot, that's been twisted around a couple of times. Every 100 metres or so there's a pretty snotty rock garden, which they're easy enough to get through, like this one. About 30 k's to go. It's been a long day.
Caiguna, the heavens have just opened up, which is not at all unwelcome. Oh, this is delightful. It's been a hot, horribly sweaty day. There's been a lot of dust. It's quite nice to have the reprieve of this weather. Although, oh, ow, oh, ow, oh, I'm alive. I was literally about to say on camera, although it's probably quite slippery, and that might be a problem. Oh dear, that hurt. Oh, jeez. Yeah, great. Oh, we're good. Alright, stop recording for now.
Jeez. After that ordeal, civilization looks good. It looks real good. Ah, BP Ultimate? I do not mind if I do. Oh, what are we talking? $2.67. Why not?
Oh man.
Well done, buddy. Well done. Doesn't civilization look good?
Yeah.